What's up, Carnage? Good to see you, man. My morning is great, thank you. How you? The Apprentice, how you doing? Good morning to you too. Man, y'all jump right in here. Glad to see you. Fantastic. Just drinking us a little coffee. Straighten up this shop a little bit. Gotta put a catalytic converter in my daughter's car at some point today. I think I'm gonna wait till it's a little more sunny out. Carnage Bladesmith, what are you up to, my man? Stuff cleaning up the shop. Chicken having a coffee. Sharpening some knives, says Carnage. You are always sharpening some knives. Well, you got so many knives, how could you not be always sharpening something? Slicing water bottles in half. If you are a knife enthusiast, nobody better to follow than Carnage. Oh, he said chilling and having a coffee, says Carnage. Yeah, that's different than chicken and coffee. Gotta keep them sharp for the videos and for the week, that's for sure. And as much sharpening as you do, man. Like, I haven't seen you swing a dull knife yet. Either that or you got prop water bottles. What if we all find out Carnage is a fraud and he's just got breakaway water bottles? Carnage, let me ask you a question while you're here. Do you see a question up here in the chat? Because I don't know how that works. I'm trying to adjust the thing, so I'm doing a Q&A up here. But it's still saying started, so I don't know. Help me out, bro. Okay, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Carnage says all the water bottles are real. I almost said well. Nick, you know what? I need like a horn that I can blow for y'all when y'all show up in the. I'm so glad to see y'all. What's going on, Trill? Yes, sir. Suspenders. I appreciate that. Nick says no question in the chat. No question in chat. Okay, let me try it again. Boom. Did it do it? What am I making today? I got a couple of things I'm contemplating today. So I think it did show up. That's great. Thank you. Thank you guys for the interaction. Well, a couple days ago, we did this. And, oh, Carnage, I definitely got to do the chess table. I don't have suitable wood for a chess table in the shop today. But that is a great idea. A great idea. I don't know. Maybe to... Maybe I'll try to do a long form with that. I do have this pole that I cut the other day trying to make a lathe, a makeshift lathe out of a drill. And I got that, so I got some success out of it. But this feels good in my hand, so I was like, I should make mallets. So, because I have all of that, I don't know if y'all know this story, but this is 100-year-old American wormy chestnut that I salvaged from inside of my old house that somebody else had salvaged before I got here. Tried to build some stuff out of it. The build was trash, but I salvaged the wood and I've got a ton of this. So I think I'll make my first round-handled mallet today. Well, technically not my first round-handled mallet, but it's the first one with a dowel instead of, like, this is all one piece that I carved. But I'm gonna cut a mortise and tenon situation out of this, see if I can make a nice round mallet. Dad, what's good? Carnage says, yeah, make me a mallet, I'll buy one. And Dad's Workshop says, hi chat, go check both of those dudes out, man. Awesome stuff. I love chestnut. It do snap easier than ash or maple. I think I may have inadvertently avoided that by using pine in the middle, so that when I strike with this, it's mostly hitting the pine. And I don't have any issues so far with any splitting, even though I got this really cool wormhole that went all the way through. I haven't had the issue with it yet. And this is my dead blow mallet, so it's got some girth to it. It's also heavier and harder to flip. But it's got the best cradle in the house. Thanks for the love, broski, says Carnage Bladesmith. And Dad says that may absorb the impact. Most chestnut is wormy. Oh, I had no idea. So I'm just being redundant when I say wormy chestnut. I should just be saying chestnut, American chestnut. Dad's Workshop is great over there. I learn a lot from this dude, Calvin. He comes in my chat and just gives me great information. Make any best item useful for camping. That's interesting. Let me see. I'll tell you my favorite thing though. This is more fishing than camping. You make amazing things, brother. I appreciate that, Carnage. We are gonna make you a daggone mallet today. Man, I was gonna show you my quick DIY fishing pole holders, but apparently I got them on a boat out there, so tripping. Very rare and lovely wood chestnut. I love how workable it is. I only have a little bit, says Calvin. Like a collapsible chair, that would be cool. Mallet is cool too. Carnage says, sounds good. I think we might start our day with, depending on how I get this car taken care of, this situation, I want to show you something. I went and helped a friend of mine out yesterday who is also a contractor, whose client was giving him a little bit of pressure about speeding up. And I came out and gave him a hand. And after I was done, he offered me this 6-foot slab of marble, and I couldn't turn it down. I'm like, $800 piece of stone, and we were able to take it out without breaking it. So I'm gonna build maybe like a bar slash table for my deck outside when I'm grilling, so that I got something sturdy to sit everything on. It's almost like having a prep table out there. Sounds great. Probably a camp stool, maybe. Sick. That's not cheap, says Carnage. Yeah, it was good luck for me. Sometimes as a contractor, you run across stuff like that pretty often. Most times it just doesn't work out. I'm in which country? I am in the United States of America. That's cool, man. Can't wait to see it. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this mallet build, right? Let's see first what wood we have available for it. We'll check the bin over here first. Live on camera, mucking up. All right. Let's get the old drink secure. Never can be too safe. Of the angels. That's a nice piece of chestnut. We can use that. So let's think about thickness. What else do we have? I have oak. I could do maybe, let me see if my oak is wide enough. Yeah, I could do oak. So, here's the idea. Round handle. Chestnut on the outside. What if I did chestnut on the inside? And no, my dimensions wouldn't be good then. I like this size, I like this height. I want to basically emulate that. And if I do that, I'll need at least two of these, one of those. I'll put the oak in the middle. I'll do a mortise and tenon situation. Yeah. Use iron bark, says Barney Rubble. I love that name. Hey Fred, what are we gonna build today? Oak sounds good. I love oak. That has a nice smell to it. Yeah, it does. I don't know why when you hung that, I saw it falling before it happened. Man, you're an enlightened one. Morning, love your content. Use the slab as a bar or countertop. Jefferson Demons 3. I appreciate the love, brother, for sure. I am going to use it for that, I believe. I think that's going to be the answer. And I'm going to build it where I can take it back out, because I am building a whole apartment in my downstairs. And I'm going to be doing that over the summer. I'm going to bring you guys in through on that, summer/fall. But I'm going to take it back out and then put it down there, maybe. Maybe. I already had some ideas though. I get a lot of free drywall and 2x4, says Carnage. Yep, that stuff comes in handy, man. Skeletor Raw was good. For those that like a nice beer, I highly recommend Red Oak. Brewed near me. Alright, I feel you. That's Skeletor Raw saying that. Kamar Patel says, finally, what have you decided to make? Dang. Mallet. We're going to make a mallet. Skills and everything says, give us 2 life lessons you've learned so far. Skills versus everything. I'm going to think about that for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Okay. 2 life lessons that I've learned so far. Do what you're most motivated to do. Do that. And only really 1 or 2 things will come of that. One is you'll realize that it was a fantastic idea, meaning it was something that you just dreamt up, you thought was cool. Turns out you're not good at it, you don't like it, you don't like the culture, blah, blah, blah. Or you realize you do love it, it is worth it, you will do the work, you are willing to do the work because it feels so good and so worth it. And you will have a happy life. You will not have regrets about what you didn't try and what you could have been, because you will have tried and you will have known. Because we all have fantasies, right? I really thought I was going to be I have kind of an ear for guitar. And I thought, I just need to learn how to practice because I love the blues so much. I'm going to be a good guitarist. I got to get this off first, folks. And I tried it and I was terrible at it. Unusually bad at it. Like my kids would come casually just pick up my guitar and be like, oh yeah, this is cool. And I can't play a single song. So the point is, I know I'm not good at guitar and I know I won't be. And thus I'm satisfied with leaving it alone. And all the other things that I've learned to do, same process. Some stuff works out, some doesn't. But trying eliminates regret. So I say you go after what you're interested in. I don't say throw the whole world at it, don't. I know people that have made their lives really strange by pursuing something that they're not gifted at. And it takes too many years to get good at it if you're not gifted at it to earn a living with it. I really should just put a heat gun on this, but I really also want to get used to this knife and its blade, and I'm kind of daily dulling it by making it perform tasks so that I can really get a good handle on how to sharpen this thing effectively and efficiently. Cross grain on this oak, getting this Carnage says, I drink Old Milwaukee or Pabst. That locked up like a brick of Colombian warrior dust. Nice knife, says Carnage. I thank you. Thank you. Born under a bad sign, says Skeletor Ra. I like the lessons, some of the realness of display. Thanks for the advice, says Skills. You have a good soul. I appreciate that, man. Tonto blades are always fun ones to sharpen, says Carnage. I feel the earth's harmony flows from ancient wisdom, binding us to her. Listen to nature's song and find your sacred place in creation's symphony. What sacred rhythm stirs my soul? If that is a question for me, I would say that my everything is musical for me, I would say. Because everything I build is very rhythmic. And then once I'm in a space of positive movement where I have a goal now as I'm growing whatever it is that I'm building, I'll end up in a place where everything becomes very it goes from robotically intentional movement, to be precise, to very flowing, natural, rhythmic movement, to being precise. I've seen Calvin do this on his workshop. You can watch Dad's workshop. You'll see what I'm talking about when he's doing those. Okay, so we've got two good edges now that we can match up. And I think we can end up with what we want here, this away. So I'm going to go ahead and chop this down on the old chop saw. Give us two nice 45s, and then we'll get a glue up started so that we can figure out how we're going to integrate the mortise and the tenon. So I'm going to start with giving myself two nice good square edges over here. We are going to change those angles, but we're not going to do it right now. This is also a lot why I like the chestnut. Nice scrabbity scrab you can do with it. And the thickness that we have in the oak right here is going to generate our width, because it's our limiter. I don't have any wider stock of this, so that's what we're going to go with. And then I'm going to need to cut an additional one of those. That ought to be far enough away to not interfere. I'll make another mark. And then let's just make it all too big. Let's go with another 7.5 inches or so. This is approximate right now. Throw you up here so you can see a little bit more. So again, I'm going to be a little bit approximate right here. I always cut things a little bit too big, but square, right? That way, you can always get it back right. Because I'm going to be cutting some angles in this eventually, I don't want it to be 290-degree turns. So we got two of those. We got one of these. I don't even know the orientation yet, so I'm going to go ahead and cut another one of these as well. We'll go the same 7.5, right about there-ish. Another 7.5. One, two, thread four. May as well not waste time. Jump on over to that table saw. Jump on over to that table saw. Why did I just go into some don't believe me, just watch? Is that a sign that something's breaking down in my social construct? Listen, if you're recording content and you use your cell phone like a broke boy like me, blue tape, they all fit inside of that circumference. Bam. Now you have West Desert. Make some quick cuts. Since these are approximate, we line the line up, and then we line the other one up, approximate. We do know we're flat back there. We do know we're good right there. This is going to make us 90 degrees. Now we got our first cut done. We'll put these right together, right? Still lined up. Second cut. Now, if we were trying to get all 90 degrees and we were trying to stay dead accurate and we didn't want to bother with the tape measure here, we make another movement over here. Line all of these up again, dead flat, right? Get closer. Dead flat over here. Let our blade come through and hit everything again. And by doing that, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cuts with 3 pulls of the blade, and we got 4 perfectly sized pieces. Yeah. But now that we have our sizes for our pieces, we got to consider our orientation. Do we want to go with the chestnut on the outside of the mallet, like so? Or do we like the oak be the outside of the mallet? We will probably have to trim it down. It's getting a little big. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get bigger than this. I could do an oak sandwich like that. Let me see. Fly in here. Oh! Oh, you see him fly right in my face, mocking me? Look at that. Oh, okay. That's our dowel size right there. That wouldn't be bad either. Let's ask. This fly was sitting on top of my phone. I almost broke my neck trying to murder him. Carter says, yeah, I like the way that looks. Well, according to the CIA, it's mainly one country. I always hear border with Afghanistan. I don't know what you're talking about. I missed the conversation, man. Dang. I'm way behind over here making mallets and whatnot. Sorry, I'm gonna pull it up on my laptop, pull you guys up, and then that way I don't have to keep squinting in at this phone because it's crazy. Carter says, I killed like 10 flies this morning. If I get 10 flies in this house, I'm moving out of it. Fogtown says a treasure chest. That would be a good idea. I'm not mad at a treasure chest. Had to make it everyday carry, Sunday short. I saw that. I think, Carnage, I saw one of you. And you had like the 6 or 7 different joints that you were kind of moving out of screen. Carnage, America's ally, make sure they don't win Afghanistan. Guess. Oh, I don't know. I'm missing the politics. I would discuss it with you guys. I don't want to talk about stuff I'm not ignorant. I'm not privy to. I'm fairly ignorant on all of this. Did I see your EDC videos? I think I did. Carnage, are you saying you want the oak on the outside? Or are you saying you want the American chestnut on the outside? Oh, now, skills, I don't, y'all can talk about whatever you like. I promise you it didn't bother me. Yeah, that was a robot video, is what Carnage says. Fogtown says, I wish I could have made a nice box, same sort, while in the middle school. Kids nowadays don't have wood shop or autocraft. Yeah, they don't. Yes, oak outside, says Carnage. Good morning, sir. You got any white ash? No, I don't. That was Nahal 2.0. I don't. I don't have really any exotic woods. These two kind of are, but these are projects that I've used before, and this is just kind of scrap left over. But I think I'm gonna go with this. This looks good. I like that. That end grain looks nice together. So on this one, we're gonna go ahead and clamp these together. We're gonna open up this in the middle to our width right here. So we're gonna cut 2 pieces and figure out how wide we need to be for our tenon. It's gonna have to go through that. I should have said that way. So let's say that let's put a tape on it. Be right back. We'll go right there. I'm just guessing the middle because we're going to have to adjust this stuff. But we're going to be inside of that. Now I'm intentionally using the fat pencil here because it's going to make a fat line. And that line is going to be inside of my dimensions. And I'm also going to cut inside of that line. And that's just going to make it a little bit smaller than this because of these rounded edges that I'm going to flatten out that I know before I put this in here. And I want to be able to make accommodation for that. Just like I made accommodation for these dowels in my bench. I can just, I'm set up, B. I'm set up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this cut over on a table saw. I keep calling my miter saw a table saw. It's on a table, so technically it is a table saw. So look. We're gonna go over there and get to it either way. Same. Get out the way. Get out the way. You know what I want to do though before I do this? I'm gonna put me a little sacrificial board right here. Right? Let me grab some. And real quick, I'm gonna just cut these all to the same thickness, right? But I'm gonna use this to do it. Now typically this sort of thing is advised against because of the direction of everything, but if you get blocking up against your fence and you get everything nice and square and true, you can do this cut. I ain't telling you what to do. Your skill level and experience will tell you what you're comfortable with and what you are not. But if I've got all three of these backs lined up dead perfect with one another, then that ought to let me do a vertical cut right here and get them all. It didn't let me do any of that. It ruined them. Ruined them. Safety lesson. I should have got a bigger block. Back to our previous technique. Recut everything and get us all perfect pieces. Again, that sucked. Go right here. Let's say 7.5-ish. Let's go a quarter this time. Fast. Not going to tolerate any nonsense. It's just not. We got all those plugged together. I'm going to do it on this side. This side, we can line them up again. This time we're going to have to go just shy of 7. Get over here so you can see it. We're back with matching pieces, and we're just gonna have to cut that another way. That was spooky. Could have been a 7-fingered bandit. Let's put this off up here. Safety lesson by a bandsaw. You exactly. First off, let's talk about this. That should have been on the table saw. Now it could have been on a bandsaw, but I don't have a bandsaw. But I do have a jigsaw. But a jigsaw on something like this is not going to cut smooth and clean. It'll cut through it, but it won't be a nice finish at the end. But we do have the benefit of having a hand plane, so we can do a hand plane on it once we cut it down to similar size. But maybe we'll do all of those at the, what did we say, at the end? Cut them all at the same time when they're together and solid. Let's get a measurement on where the center is, because we still got to cut this out. Out of 7, it'd be 3.5. After 3.5, off the 1.25 inch, we should put that 3/4. Should put that right here, and then we have 2 interior lines, none of them square yet. Close. Back to our saw. Dum dum dum. Alright, here we go. This should be our glue up. We gotta decide what's our outside, what's our inside. This is the inside, this is the inside. Gotta be nice out there. There. This one's kind of cupping a little bit. So I think this may be better. I don't like this, but I guess I'll have to sand it either way. Not to say it's a bad thing, but ideally, I think. You know, something like that. And with that hard oak on the outside, we don't have to worry much about splitting, I wouldn't think. So we're just going to start with this way. There's our glue. So, hold on 1 second. Wait, stop right there. All right, sorry, back. I had some house guests leaving, and they had little ones with them, and YouTube's got rules about the babies on the cameras. So, all right, now I use these little alligator clamps to do kind of a temporary hold while I get legitimate clamps that are actually going to be holding this thing in place, because I don't want to just hold them in place. I want to get these boards married to each other and get a full bond the whole way, and that has to happen by multiple clamping locations, a little bit more pressure than what these spring-loaded clamps can do. So, but the clamps are like extra fingers. These clamps are like extra arms. Get that snap. Make sure we're lined up on the 3 sides that we can be, and then get some good squeeze out. I try to be mindful of where the handles are, because when you go to set these pieces down, that'll make a difference. Again, I want them flat. I know my top is flat, so if I hammer everything down and then tighten, I know I'm flat. I know I'm level. I know they're all even, so to speak. Alright. Get back over here and adjust where needed. Now that I got that on, I don't need that there, I don't need that there. But I am not super flush down here. So we're going to loosen our clamp just a little bit. So that we can get back lined up on this side before our glue sets. Make sure we're moderately, reasonably level, tight and flat. Pinch it down. Now I got to do the same thing for this side. And this is why you need so many, because you got so many different sizes that you're going to want to deal with. Now, we've essentially got the head of our mallet built. We're going to have to cut all the edges and make them all nice and clean and flush with each other, but that part of the assembly is done. We just got to wait for glue to dry, and then we can pull it back apart. And meanwhile, we're going to measure our hole, and then we're going to cut our dowel down to fit in that hole. But if you'll bear with me for a quick second, I am going to do the proper thing and walk my house guests out to their vehicle. And I'll be right back while you, I guess, look at that and chat. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. And I just need to see the screen, if y'all don't mind. I'm sorry I'm not. I had to be a good host. But anyways, I'm back, so if you have questions, the chat is now visible to me again and open. Woohoo! Let's see what we got. Oh snap, we got the wife in the chat. Whoop whoop. Let's see. Boom. Now my wife has authority in every stage of my life. Sheesh. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. All right. Dad's Workshop, I appreciate you, broski. Always in here making a difference. Alright, now, a couple of things we got going on with this. I think this is a good place for a handle where my fingers are, what we've already made, and I think that's going to be alright. But now I have to figure out how to get that opening width. Makiza, oh my fault. I put words together. Mika Mats, my bad. How you doing, Mika? We're trying to decide how to transfer our width. What happened? Is my tool not working? Alright, here we go. Gotta tighten it up a little bit. That's what we want, more or less. That's a very convenient little option right there. I can see that you probably can't, so try to make it a little more defined for you. That's the material we've got to remove. Got to come all the way down. This will also come in handy for this task. A little further than we probably have to. But I'm mostly just going to line up with my edge. I'll show you how. My box of pencils and pens, markers, and gadgetry has made itself scarce. I'm now confused as to the whereabouts. Sheesh. Oh, I'm good, Mika. I'm excellent. Just in here drawing on some wood. Alright, so now I'm just going to bring these things straight down if we can. And it's easier for me to do that from this side Unfortunately, you can't see that all that well, but I'm going to transfer this mark just down to the side, just a little bit, because I'm not being very accurate. Then I'm going to put the square on it, line up with that mark on the side. Try to keep it as flat as possible. As plumb as possible. Make me a little mark. I'm going to do that twice. Alright, that looks good. Do it again over here, because this is your blind side, but I gotta see it to do it right. So such an awkward thing. Now we're going to check our width, our depth, excuse me. That looks good. We can go right about there. And we will put this here. And the hole we already built. Our finger right there, we'll just turn it. No big deal. That'll give us the same mark all the way around. Now we can decide what material we're removing, which is the narrowest of it. Same on the other side. Now, we got the option of the chisel, potentially the spoke shave, or potentially the old saw. I think I'm going to try the saw first. I could use some more hand saw experience. This might be a challenge. I'm going to pull off our desktop. And just to protect our dowels so that we don't crush that wood, I just happen to have this in my shop. This is just rubber spline for window screens, and I just keep reusing it for this. It just fits in there, lets me get a nice tight grab without coming into any direct contact with the metal at all. It's not going to move too much. And I can get that pretty tight. So let's see if we can get a clean cut out of this thing, or if this is even the way to go. width-wise. You can still pull off quite a bit of this. And if I could get one more on, that would be great.
thickness of the stock we're matching. Hold on 1 second. Hey Robert G, how you doing? Alright, sorry about that, y'all. I was trying to be able to see my chat, and I'm glad that finally I can. So, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? So what I'm trying to do is match this thickness for the head of the mallet that we built a little earlier, then we're glued up, and we're waiting on the glue up. So we've got to get this tenon in this mortise. And so we're almost there. This is the thickness that we're after. And maybe you can see it better here. We're very close. I'm good, Robert. I'm enjoying my Sunday. Been a hot week outside working, and so I'm glad to have a little time in the shop today. And we had some house guests, as I may have mentioned earlier in the chat, and they are gone right now, so felt like we were good hosts and hostesses, so it's always a good feeling. Atlanta's a great place to visit, and we really don't mind our friends and family coming in town to come see the things here, and they'll just crash at our place, which is very nice. Get to see everybody a little more often. We did a little chisel sharpening, I think last weekend, and these chisels have been holding up wonderfully since then. And I'm glad to get some use out of them on the line. And it does kind of go to show you don't necessarily need the high-end stuff. You just do have to have the know-how on how to maintain a blade and an edge. And this is also really good practice if you have a set of chisels. You can see I'm not really using any heavy-duty equipment, and the stuff that I did use earlier, we could totally replace that with a handsaw if you chose to, or if you needed to. And it does not make a lesser mallet. But if you have tools that can save you time and not sacrifice quality, of course, you should use them. But if you got to sacrifice anything, make it time. And enjoy yourself as you go. That way you're utilizing that time and never wasting it. Robert, it's very satisfying to do this too. Murphy says, so is it better structurally for it to be glued instead of being chiseled out of one solid piece? And the answer to that for me is I don't know. It really does depend. One thing is the mortise and tenon joints, like this one, that's been glued into this because this is my dead blow mallet, so it's got material inside of it. But see how sometimes the wood with the expansion and contraction will do that, and then you can whack it right back down. You can also adjust that joint. But ultimately, I don't think this will ever come apart because it's one piece. But DMX here is one solid piece head that's mortised straight through. And this is the mallet I use as a sledge when I really need to whack something in place. It's more like a hammer. I never really use it on chisels or to join material unless I'm just putting a big joint together or moving something into place. And I believe that if the head is solid and fine, I think you're good either way. I've never had a mallet split that I've made this way. So I think you're okay either way. I think it's just a preference of what's easiest or better for you to build and what you prefer to have at the end visually. Robert G says, got sauce simmering for lasagna, so I have some downtime. Oh man, a well-simmered sauce is a good sauce, Robert. You already got the key to life over here. Glue joint if done right is stronger than the wood, so in a normal use shouldn't be a difference. That's true. Fair enough. I've just done it with Forstner bits and chisels, so I'm not sure of the difference. Oh yeah. Well, this is gravy train if you've done it with Forstner bits and chisels. This would be probably much easier. Jeff Davis says, good morning, boss. Good morning, Sam. I remember those cartoons where the little sheepdog would be out there with the red hat. Well, hair, I mean. Morning, Sam. Morning, Ralph. I don't know who's the sheepdog, who's the coyote. I guess I'm the one going to work, so maybe I'm the sheepdog. But it is for fun, so maybe I'm the coyote. Maybe I'm both. But if you do enjoy the content, I appreciate your likes. I also appreciate your subscription so that when I'm doing stuff, it'll notify you and let you know. I get a lot of people that say, hey man, where'd you go? I hadn't seen you in a while. And that's not because I haven't been on in a while. It's just the rhythm of the alga. So a subscription will sort of offset that, and it doesn't cost you any money. And then that way we won't miss each other. And here live in the chat is where you can also give me any insight, any shorts that you'd like to see, any understanding you'd like to know, anything you'd like to ask me about. I'm game. And if you don't want to hear me talk at all, you can kill the sound and just watch me shave wood. I ain't offended. I can't listen to me talk either. Let's see how close we are now. We're going to take this down a little at a time for two reasons. One, we can't put wood back. But the other, we want an exact match on our width so that we don't risk splitting it when it goes in. We still got a little ways to go. I'm enjoying what this chisel's doing. I think I'm going to try another though. A little wider, that way I can keep the whole of this thing flat all at once. I love, love, love it when my chisel is sharp. I really do. See that little break? Ugh. Fun. You keep going. Keep going. Keep on keeping on. Sometimes I gotta go side saddle to get the proper angle. But you do what you gotta do. Nobody's gonna laugh at you while you got a chisel in your hand, I'll tell you that much. It'll be sharp or blunt, you know? They won't laugh at you, but they won't treat you good at the airport. I'll tell you that. Let's see. I'm gonna come over there and take a look at you in a second, chat. Just trying to keep my fingers where they at. Let's see. Let's make sure we're not taking too much off one side. Make sure we're good and balanced. That's going to be important. Two ways we're going to address that is looking here and here, looking here and here. Up here we look good. Down here it looks like I'm a little bit shy on this side, so I'm going to cut down a little deeper. Now, this is a scribing knife, but it works really well for this particular task of breaking those fibers at the bottom on the shoulder. This would be considered the shoulder. Now, every now and then I'm going to lean back to make sure I'm not going too far left or right, and if I got to level something out, then I can do that as well. And I learned very early on, these chisels, don't try to take off too much in a single pass. It's gradual. It's better that way. by the time you can take off more material in a single pass, you won't need anybody's guidance on it. It's one of those things that's just going to come with having enough experience to do it. So right now I'm showing a little heavy on this left side, so I'm going to favor it a little bit as I'm taking off material. Keep leaning back and watching myself gradually retwist this back. But I'm doing it with the chisel, not with the wood itself. And that's a big lathe. Murphy, any advice on getting the lathe for furniture legs by chance? Been looking into it for when I'm home, trying to get into making chairs. Murphy, me and you are in the same boat there, but I want a lathe so bad. And I am just going to end up getting one off Marketplace. I'm giving myself a little budget. But I'm going to probably end up doing that myself. And as I learn about it, I've never owned a lathe. I've never turned anything on a lathe. Closest I've done is what I've built myself. And I mostly sanded with it, not actual wood carving or turning in a traditional sense. So I wish I had better info for you. This time I do not. Robert G says new Bauer lathe is supposed to be great for the money. That might be a worthy investment. If you're not, like I ran into this yesterday on a job site, where a friend of mine, another contractor, went to go help him catch up on a job. He's a great guy, doing great work. Just got a little bit behind. And he had some Harbor Freight tools. And he had some other budget tools. And this guy is doing full renovations on luxury property. And one thing you never want to do is show up and the homeowner's got superior tools to yours. And I don't know, I can't argue any of these brands. I'm not gonna. But I will say that he had a lot of tools that weren't performing well at all. Glad I brought my truck and my stuff. And my stuff is not brand specific. My stuff is based on, I got 30 years in the business, so I know I've used everything, so I know what works for what, traditionally. And a lot of tools are interchangeable, and they're talking about certain details and specs are just not important at all. If you can turn a screw, 1/100th of a second faster, it makes no real difference in real life. But if you are doing luxury work, you want as accurate a tool as you can afford. Otherwise, they'll overwork you. Trying to get it right, trying to get it clean, trying to get it smooth, trying to get it flat. So if you're pursuing a financial future with woodworking, spend money. If you are a hobbyist, the budget stuff really will get you by, unless you're trying to do or graduate to ultra high-end finishes. And that also still can be done with hand tools. Had to go lefty there for a second. This actual rod came out of a 1940s attic. Not attic like they went to rehab, but attic like as I was renovating the property. It was up there. All my stuff be free, man. That is really, really close. Really, really close. We're going to chase down the aesthetic just a little bit. Put another little slice of roni right across the front. Just a bit. Just so we got a nice, easy entry. And then we'll let the wedge do the rest of the fitment from that point. So I'm leaning back so I can look down the corner here and see if anything's sticking up in any weird way. Because we want our tenon to go in without, you know, with a little friction, but we're not friction from one high point, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of shaving just a little bit now. Almost like what you'd be trying to do with the plane. All the way down to that shoulder. Drag it across. Now, I will say this. Early on, it's important to kind of be a perfectionist a little bit. Try to be. Understand that you will not do it perfect, but try. If you aim at 100%, you'll land on 90, and that's respectable. If you aim at 80% and you land on 70, it's disgraceful. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of, this shoulder's a little higher than that one. I gotta chop this down a little bit. Fairly narrow cut. I'm not sure how the pros would go about it. I'm going to try it this way. Put the corner of my chisel right here. I'm going to just keep the same reveal angle all the way around to the other side. And travel right back in the same line if I can. Put with some pressure. Kind of feels like it's helping me. And I was going to grab a mallet and hit this, but it's working. Like I'm already halfway through, so I'm going to let it continue to do that. Because this is end grain I'm cutting through. And look at, you're getting good results with that. It's not bad. Move it back a little bit so we don't get too in the way. Get all of our arteries out of the way, make sure, you know what I'm saying? No problems. Scribing knife again. This little tool is great for corners and marking. I'm getting the material. Got to. All right. Let's see what we got here. Some people live in the chat. Grizzly standing legs, I think it's 14 by 40. You don't need the 14, but you would need the 40, 20 legs to work them down, 36 for backs. Wow, Murphy, you got some real knowledge on these lathes. Thanks for sharing it with us. Robert, a lot with the whole Hercules stuff is great, especially with their miter saw. JBO Germany says, I like people. They have great skill in woodworking. Only mistake, and everything is screwed. Wood isn't fixable while welding. That's true. But look, I can make a mistake and crack my knuckles on this wood all day. Automotive and welding, yeesh, can't do that. You gotta have gloves on. Murphy says, I'm gonna have to look into that. I have the $50K budget to get a 36 by 20 shop set up, concrete pad, and get better tools so when I'm home I can enjoy my time making something. Shinto rasp may help you bring it down without cutting it. Oh yeah, that's true. I also don't think I have a Shinto rasp. I do have some, why am I losing words? Is this the beginnings of my old folks disease? Files. I do have files, and I think I will use that if I gotta make it any more perfect. But look, we're a little bit fat right here, or either we're a little bit narrow right there, so I'm gonna pull a little bit more off this edge here. Just to kind of flatten and fatten things up. I'm just kind of doing one side at a time. Shaving down a little on the left, a little on the right. I don't want to get too ambitious. Like I said, you can't put any of it back. But we can do a glue up. We can do that. That was a big slice of bologna just there. It is funny how drastically differently I look at joinery these days. It's so much more of a fine craft than you really, as a framing carpenter, ever really get an idea about. It's so fine. Like you would never spend this much time on one joint that make any money doing this in framing carpentry. What's going on in the chat? Let me come over there. Poke my head in. A million bastard file could also help. Mill. Got hypnotized by your work on Sunday morning. Appreciate it. Says Brooks Heron. I appreciate you for showing up, Brooks. I got hypnotized a little bit myself. See if I can flatten out this tenon. It was very meditative for me. I'm glad y'all chose for me to build a mallet this morning. Just taking a little bit of the twist out of this. A little high on this side. More ways than one, you know what I'm saying? Alright. We are having a good little time right now. The nice thing is you're taking your time. There's no client waiting. There's no problem pending. Take your time and do a good job. And like many of these things, once I'm finished with them, maybe I'll put pricing and things like that on. Maybe. But maybe I'll just keep giving them away. Let's see. Okay, now width-wise, we got our dimensions. We can get in there. Depth-wise, we need to manage that now. So, let's make ourselves a few marks. There we go. Put that back over. Continue getting the fan action. Here, I'm looking for my combination square again. A nice square opening would be best. this end, we're just going to ride this edge all the way down. We're just going to square it. This one we're going to have to come a little shy of that because we are not exactly balanced. But we are going to bring that shoulder effort around. Same on this side. And that ought to keep us good. back. Had to make the ricotta mixture. Click that like if you haven't already. I appreciate that, Robert. Thanks for reminding the folks to be nice on a Sunday morning. I mean, we all know who was a carpenter. Click a like for him. I don't know. I don't want to pander, but pander. Robert G, are you the chef at your house too? Both my wife and I both cook, but kind of like in Goodfellas, the big meals somehow end up on me, which I like because I'm a control freak. Oh my God, I got mosquitoes in here. And the flies gonna be dead. Just killed it. Woohoo! Chump. Got fast hands, buddy. Alright. Robert says, yeah, mostly. C&G Creations, I'm good. How you doing? I appreciate the inquiry as to my well-being. I'm splendid. I can't complain. I got all my fingers and toes, both of my eyes, sense of touch and smell. All of which seem to be pretty good for woodworking. So what am I going to complain about, you know? I'm chilling at home on a Sunday morning. Meanwhile, some sucker billionaire is out there nervous about whether he's going to lose $1 million he'll never touch. So I'd say, comparatively speaking, my life is pretty good. I could be a billionaire, so can't complain. She is so sharp, man. This chisel has been working wonders, all of them today. We did some great sharpening last week, and it all turned out really good. We took it up a notch and went from, pardon these angles, I'm just trying to get some adjustment here. But we did some stuff the other day, taught us a little bit more about our sharpening techniques. It worked out good. So now, we've got our tenon. Let's check it. We can still lose some more of that. And me, I would rather sneak up on a cut, really. Because I trust the actual thing to the thing more so than I do trust the tape measure to the thing. And that's a weird thing to come out of the mouth of a contractor, but it's true.
And there's a certain satisfaction I get out of making adjustments and getting to an eventual higher level of joinery. So remember, we're always being very careful and mindful with these chisels of where the rest of our hands are at. Make sure we keep everything we came with. Let me get you closer around.
I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the subscriptions. I appreciate any of you for showing up. Thank you. We're getting there. We are just cleaning up each side just a little bit more and see if we can creep up on those couple millimeters that we need off of this thing. And then we'll check it in a few, make sure we haven't gone too far. And if we have, then we'll work on the remedy for that. I guess we all have, to some degree, like goals with what we're doing. And I think my number one goal when I started woodworking and on this YouTube channel, because it happened at the same time, is that people didn't come in the chat and call me an idiot and tell me how wrong I'm doing everything. That is an accomplishment that I'm not blatantly doing all of it wrong. That's a small victory, silver lining. That I'm going to put on YouTube today. But I'm gonna try that tenon again. Ugh. Yes. That was good, right? Ah, that was good. So now, a couple things. Gotta cut all this flush so we can actually use this thing. But we also have to cut a wedge in it so that we can whack it down, lock everything in, and you got to determine this handle height. Where does it end? Where does it stop? Kind of got this thing right here going, which I like. Maybe cut it off right here, just below, and then we'll put some sort of bevel on that. Yeah. I think that'll work. Question is, are we going to hand cut it or are we going to take it over to this saw? What can we even do to this to make it a little cool? I guess we could put some grip on it down here, right? Yeah. Let's put some grip on it, some sort of texture. But what can we put in here? Guess we could work some patterns. Let's go ahead and figure that out. Let's calculate some sort of pattern. We got our glue drying anyway, so here's an opportunity to do something cool. And first we're going to measure where we're going to cut this off, which I think is going to be maybe around there. Ought to be good. I don't often work on circular things or cylindrical things, so I'll be freestyling some of this, and if you got a suggestion, I'll take it. Ivan is back. Hey Wes, what we making today? We are making a mallet, bro. Skate. We are making a mallet today. And we have just gotten ourselves at a point where we're making the handle. We've got our tenon all set up. Now we've got to cut our handle to length. And then we also got to make some markings on here so that we can put some texture on here. I'm doing this for a friend, and I think I want to have a different handle grip than I've had before. So, we'll see. Maybe I should spin it first. Nah. I'll spin it after if I need to. Let's see. For now, we gotta cut this. I'm gonna use a pull saw just because I need some practice with the Japanese pull saw. it is not in my nature to use it. I'm very much accustomed to American style saws, but I do recognize the potential usefulness if I gain this skill, so I'm gonna try it. You hear that grunt like an old man sound? Weird, huh? So I'm just kind of got it with my thumb at first, because that's how I get down. I'm gonna start with the forward cut because that's easier. I'm gonna lock this in, and hopefully it'll stay in place. These seems like it's doing a job. I'm not gonna front. I am amazed and surprised at how simple and easy that looks. I've struggled with this saw many times in the past. I've been loving it. Wanted to ask you about if you're doing texturing, specifically if it's round, you don't have a grip to hold it. You have to hold it hard. I guess we're on the same page. That sounds about right. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with that specifically in my own life, but that makes very good sense. I'm going to take the rasp, not rasp, but the file, and I'm going to put a little chamfer around this edge, because at least I know how I want to do that for now. I should, however, figure out how deep I want it. That ought to do fine. And that's what we'll be aiming at.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the top goes, then I'm going to try to put my perfectionist hat on a little bit. Meanwhile, I scribe with my fingers. Better practice it. She'll get better at it. But you'll have a fundamental, basic guideline. How far to go. It's always good to have a definitive stopping point, even in your approximate work. Hey, Carnage says, looking good. Thank you. Ivan says, as long as you keep your body in line with the cut, they work a treat. I like to use a straight file and make grooves in the handle for texture. It's quick and you don't have to sand it afterwards. Yeah. Well, I used this file to do these a couple weeks ago. But I did sand after. Let's go ahead and get tackling on this chamfer. Boy, you know how I love my files. I love it. Brian says he's been doing work around the house. It's a good day for that, broski. Good day for that. 'Tis a Sunday. Start by just working up to that line on this side. I'll go all the way around. Murphy says, Tyler the Craftsman catching bodies over here. Hilarious. Over here Murphy flies, B. Salado. Salado. I appreciate the maturity of my chat right now. Once upon a time, the strangers staggering in would not have been able to tolerate this site right now without a whole bunch of chatter. I think you should turn the handle working facing away from you. If you work from above it, tends to tear out. I get what you're saying. So I should really be pulling. That makes sense. And that is becoming a smoother transition. I'm basically going to do kind of a big fat round over, which I think does work. I do appreciate that insight. Got to be able to see this line, and y'all got to be able to see it. So I think this way, going in this direction, prevent our tear out. Via your suggestion. And now I'm just going to kind of pull this at an angle and just kind of round that edge there as we go. Seriously glad I could help. People don't have the ability to share information. Oh, absolutely. I am seriously glad you could help. I enjoy this chat because I always have helpful people in it. And I'm always very proud to have people in here that know more than me that can make this a better experience for the people who know less than both of us. So, shout out to you, Ivan. I appreciate you, bro. Alright, now we got sort of a rounded situation. That looks like I'm not flat though. It's beautiful to experience, says Ivan. I agree with you, sir. I agree 100%. Once we knock this down, we are going to turn this into a feature, and then we are going to put some grip in between. I think would be a good thing. But how we're going to put it to a feature, we'll know in a second. I've had the far side break out from that exact motion while pushing. Yep. I would imagine that's what it would do. We're going to take a little break. Been at it for a little while now. I think I'm going to take a second, grab something to eat. And I appreciate every single one of y'all watching. And hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'll be back in about maybe a half hour or so. And then I'll see y'all then. Peace. Y'all be good, man. Thanks for hanging out, Ivan. I really do appreciate you. Shout outs to you. Shout out to everybody that showed up so far. We'll be back at it in a few. What's that?